Hello, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and welcome back to Principles of Supervision, Management 160, offered online by Harper College. This is a quick overview of what's required for the week. We're in week 6, which basically we'll be covering our last 3 chapters, chapters 15, 16, and 17, if I'm mistaken. Let me see. 16 is selecting employees. 15 is selecting the employees from a supervisor's perspective. Chapter 16, providing orientation and training. And chapter 17, appraising performance. Just like you'll be appraising my performance when you take when you'll get what do you call it, teacher's opinion there. So what's your opinion about the class? Be frankful, what you liked about class, what you didn't like about the class, if you like the videos, if you like the YouTubes, if you like the quizzes, whatever. It's information that I use for feedback going back. Give me some good stuff, positive and negative, just like you'd be managing an employee. You'd want to give them the positive, just more positive than providing more positive. And this is what I'm going to talk about this week. So what do we have this week? We have our regular chapters for 15, 16, 17. These are the last chapters, last quizzes for this week. We're at 45 points. You have one forum. I know last time I told you I said this was going to be the last. We're going to work on our research paper forum, but we still have one more week to do, and then the final, because this is week 7. This is an 8-week course, if I'm mistaken. 8 or 9 weeks. Okay, short lectures. Remember, always look at my lectures. You click on them, you have information on there, you can play them, you can play forward, utilize the concept maps. So if I'm looking at the concept maps, I've already provided them in here. You have the links so you can find them back in here. And then you also have the student PowerPoint links. Remember, everything in here is to help you learn in a virtual office, in a virtual setting. So you're doing pretty good on your forums. Everyone's doing very well. Last week's forums, when I let you select the different chapters and some items. Very good conversation. You started going. I chimed in every now and then. I was reading most of them. I think you did very well. This week forums are going to be a continuation. Remember, part of this class is how do I communicate effectively, how do I do training in what you would call an e-learning environment or a virtual environment. Most of us will be dealing with our employees or even our managers, either through FaceTime or Skype or some kind of virtual environment, an internet or intranet within the organization, through emails or through some kind of a meeting. 50% of that, that's a different way of learning. So it's good to come to school and learn it here on an online class, what you would consider an e-learning platform, because a lot of the classes or training that you'll be doing in the corporate world or even in your small business, if you're a business manager bringing in, it makes more sense while they're already there or out in the field and they have the technology to do their training in between times when they're either waiting for customers or between another, for lack of better words, another client, another activity that you have planned for them as a supervisor or a small business owner. Okay, so we have that. So you have the short lecture, this. So let's go into the forums. The forums were 30 points this time. I've increased the forums. You're doing well in the forums. I'm going to continue with the chapter reading, so you're going to have the 3 chapters. You'll be able to pick any topics from the 3 chapters, 15, 16, or 17. Let me just close this off a little and make this just a little bit bigger for those of us who geez, man, it's so clear now. I can't even read it. Okay, so read the chapters. I want you to pick several topics from 1 or 2 chapters that others have not already selected. So if I'm talking about certain appraisals, unless you're going to add on to the individuals. Remember, somebody selected a topic, that's not your topic. You're just responding to them. Hey, I had this example. Come up with a new topic. I want this whole class, this is a learning environment. We're going to be talking about learning, right? How do I, as a supervisor, create that learning environment, that creativity within the workforce, that I reward them adequately. So if I'm looking at that, because if they're contributing back to get a better performance appraisal, I know where I got to do some training. So just, and training basically is to bring the individual from one point, it could be at this plateau, to make them be more effective, more efficient, or to be able to learn a new task, still part of their whole job, and that's part of the learning organization. I don't want to relearn the whole new task all at once. I slowly learn, just if you've learned from other courses you've been taking me on with learning organization. All starts with the supervisor. I have to slowly do little changes, little things we're learning. How do we learn from our customers? How do we learn from the last job? If you look at anyone who's been in the military, once you have any kind of event or action against your opponent, whether you won or lost, what did we do good, what did we do bad, where could we do improvement. Every time you look at it, you have to have the same strategy when you look at it with employees and when you're looking at your process. How do I become better? How do I bring the team better? How do I get them to be a better communicator? And that's some things with the training and everything else. And part of it is through appraisal. And how do I reward the individual? So that's what the chapters are going to be at. Okay, so in your own words in the forum, expand on how you as a supervisor would, and here's just an example, in the body of the forum, would be looking for when you hire me or hired yourself into that position that you're currently in. It's an example. And you would expand just like you did in last week's forum. Hey, here's what I think they were looking for. Here's how I presented myself, why I was hired. And I used this thing. I did 5 other interviews, never got the job. I learned from each one, and I adjusted my way of presenting back to an interview to, I'm not making up stuff. I was just taking, they wanted me to talk about this, and I was just off the subject. Oh, now I know I could take a note. Oh, they wanted me to talk about, so now when somebody asks me a similar question, I know how to bring everything else in to the point, right, to thing, tell them what the event was, how you approach the events, how you resolve the event, and what was the total outcome. And sometimes it could be say it didn't work out this way, but I learned. That's what I'm trying to get out of this. Okay, so remember, you're always going to be professional. I'm not going to be telling you, hey, you're coming in, your first post, and you got to get the form started at Tuesday. Those who haven't, you realize you never received the full points. You're off by 5 points right off the bat. I want the form going, and so you did your first post by Tuesday, but then you don't respond to anyone until Saturday. People say, when's the form? And it's Saturday. Yes, the form for Saturday for you to read all the other posts by Friday. Saturday is just a wrap-up day, not to do 20 things and think I'm going to get my whole 10 or 15 replies in all in one day. That's a download. Come on. We've already been through this. I hate to be preaching on this, but I feel you have to understand when you're talking to a customer, you don't have to respond to every post, but you have to sometimes stimulate conversation with him or her so they see some value with you. If your employees don't see no value with you, they don't come to you, you don't come up with new ideas, you're not going to have a learning organization. You are the catalyst as a supervisor or a small business manager how to get this thing going. So remember, here's the form. Now, at the end of the form, when you're looking at, I want you to, for lack of better words, I want you to go in here and I want you to look at research paper information. After you've done your posting, maybe about like Wednesday or Thursday, you can start asking some question. Hey, to other students. I'm not going to be responding to all the questions until next week. When we're in week 7, the whole week, you have no more chapters to do. You will be working on your paper and your research. But I want you to get the head start now and maybe ask some questions. Hey, where do you find this information? What does he mean by citation? How many citations? Why do we have to have 35 words within the thing, concepts, everything else from the reading if I want to get the full point? What's the rubric? Oh, does Dr. George have a short YouTube on what's expected? Well, let's see what we have. Research paper information. Remember, next week we'll be talking a bit more. You have information, look at the concept map, and then you could just ask a few questions. But next week the whole forum is going to be just is going to be on you helping each other out within the forum. That's what you're doing with these 2 chapters. I'm preparing you to be a network, a resource to other peers, other supervisors, other small business managers, so you could help them and they could help you. It's a two-way street. Sometimes they help you, but you have nothing to give back to them, but down the road you remember that help and you'll help that individual in the appropriate time. And those of you who do the posting and someone doesn't reply back to you, maybe they found no interest in your post, and because everyone's got different issues that they're looking at, but that doesn't mean that they didn't talk back to me, so I'm not going to respond to anybody. You still need your 10 or 15 points posts I'm talking about within the week to get your 30 points. I up the points, so these are easy posts. These are posts to help you. If you find something within these forms or some of these posts because you're doing a research paper, remember, cut and paste those into your paper right now. The forms, if you respond to the individual, something else, when you click in even the forms closed, you click on the grade. If you did some kind of contact an individual, all that information is there. If you just read the information, no, those forms, those informations are no longer available to you. It's no longer I looked at the paper and I couldn't find anything that was useful, so I just read it just for information, but I didn't take any notes on it or didn't respond to it. All right, so that takes care of that. So let's go back into our weekly assignments, and I think we covered everything else. Remember, week 6 will be opened up usually by Sunday midnight. I'll try to open up earlier once I have the video. Sometimes if it's open up earlier, you could go through the exams the back way to take some of the quizzes. Always do the chapter reading and the forms. If it's not through the week, I always do it so you could finish all your work now and you start the new week like you come in a week, you're fresh. And sometimes I don't make it too early. I know I have a lot of individuals that try to get this done. I'm trying to also make sure that you find that balance between family, school, friends, and your social responsibility, your religious responsibilities, your family responsibilities, your responsibilities to your friend, your coworkers, or what other responsibilities you have to, but mostly have some responsibilities to give that time to yourself, a time off, either Sunday or Saturday, whichever works better for you, and then basically give yourself an hour or two. Just kick back, watch some movies, just the no-brainer stuff. Walk around, enjoy the things, whether it's winter or summer or cold. There's always some beauty outside, and then get your time, and then basically that's how you recharge yourself. Recharge yourself. Get deep breath, relax, and then basically you'll start next week the online forms, basically everything on Monday. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, and thank you for taking this course, Supervision, and we're on the last couple of weeks, and you'll be done with this accelerated course. It's an 8-week course, so it's taking me online or face-to-face and using this as a supplemental information. And I'll see you online. Bye. Within the forum, and make sure you do your homework. I'm watching. And I gotta find a